All right, well, tip number one is that very first one that you're going to get on all videos that's similar to this, guys. Location. And location is key all year round, and that's exactly the same in autumn. Now, if you have the option, best times to be walking around the lake is actually going to be in the night time. So if you finish after work like I do on a Friday, most of the time walking around the lake late at night is going to be best and key. So there are some things that may help with regards to location, guys. Obviously, there's still, if you go to a venue that's got weed in it, you might be able to still see the weed, as well as lilies and stuff like that. They shouldn't have completely died off by now. If you got weed, lilies, those areas are going to be holding carp. Another thing you want to be thinking about possibly is maybe slightly deeper areas, guys, because now as it's starting to get cooler, those deeper areas are going to hold on to that warmth a little bit longer, and as we all know, the carp are going to be heading for the warmth. So that's certainly worthwhile. You know, I would certainly be looking into open water areas where it's possibly deeper. Now, one other thing, and this does also come into bait and all the rest later, but if you've got some silty areas, you might find that could be a point where this time of year they're looking for the naturals in there, the bloodworm and all that sort of thing. So you may want to be fishing over those silty areas as well, guys. So location is key as always. Now, sometimes you will have a venue like mine, most of the time two weeks a month I'm at Mousehole, and your swim's already predetermined for you. But that's when, you know, you investigate your swim, you find those silty areas, you find those deeper areas, and that might be where you want to concentrate your efforts, guys. Tip 2. So it's about finding those fish, guys, to be fair. And as I already hinted on, carp are nocturnal, and in autumn you probably won't see them as much in the mornings as you might have done in the summer, but you will at night. So that does mean it's really to your benefit if you are up during the night, watching the water, listening out for the fish to try and find out the location. Now, if they're not in your swim now and you've got the option to move, then that's what you do. But if not, it gives you that information for maybe your next visit to go, right, they weren't actually over this side, they were over the other side. Let's see what it's like. And to that end, you know, I'm up all during the night. I was up last night. I arrived at the lake yesterday, so I was up last night, sat up, had a coffee, watched the water for about half an hour. Now, where I am, unfortunately, I've got an aerator that's on 24/7, so hearing them, I couldn't hear anything last night, guys, if I'm honest, but I was still able to watch the water and see if anything presented itself. Unfortunately, it didn't, but not to mean it won't at the lake where you are. So getting up during the night, watching the water, listening for quite a while is definitely a top tip for the autumn, guys. Right. Tip number 3, bait. So boilies offer carp the nutritional goodness they need at this time of year, guys. All good quality boilies will have what the carp need, and it's really worthwhile enhancing them with oils or liquid food to do 2 things. 1, give you that added attraction, but 2, to block out what might be a silty lake bed and, you know, all that dinginess going into your boilie. You can block it just by enhancing your boilies before you put them in on your loose feed, guys. Obviously there's added benefit, you know, if you're putting oils and all that into your boilie and your crumb, then that's going to be traveling up the water column and hopefully drawing those fish down. So really worthwhile. Now, I'm not someone that generally uses lots of baits, guys, if I'm honest, but last week I was on a venue, I wasn't catching, I decided to put a lot more bait in, and I did have a fish. So I will be doing it myself this autumn, where I'm actually baiting actually I definitely will be baiting heavier than I do normally, guys, to see if it pays off for me. So definitely worthwhile. Something else, so hook baits. Now, I do feel generally through spring and summer they've seen all the bright hook baits out there, so autumn I do believe is definitely worthwhile doing the old match the hatch. Hence why on this session I've actually gone back to the van and got some Monster Baits Beast, which are like a brown colour, the normal sort of fish meal colour, guys, and I'm going to be matching that with the matching wafters, to be fair, guys. So definitely worthwhile giving the old match the hatch a try in the autumn. So tip number 4, weather, guys. I'd always suggest, you know, you do pay close attention. I always check the weather out before I go for a number of reasons. 1, I want to be prepared with what sort of clothing I need. Do I need more waterproofs and all that sort of stuff? But it's really important to pay attention to drops in pressure and also wind, because a really fresh wind can trigger a feeding response. So if you plan your visits accordingly, you know, if you look at the weather, plan your visits to coincide with low pressure and a good fresh strong wind, that could really be to your advantage, guys. Also worth noting, now we're in autumn, the days are getting shorter. Worthwhile being prepared for those longer nights. Make sure you've got all your lights, either your headgear or your bivvy light or whatever, charged up, and have some spares. Actually, another quick little thing, guys. So obviously with those shorter daylight hours, I always make sure I've got rigs pre-tied, solid PVA bags pre-tied and the rest, all that sort of thing. Mainly because I don't want to be trying to doing it in the dark or just off the bivvy light. So that's something else you might want to do, guys. With the shorter daylight hours, just try and get most of your prep done before you get to the lake. Right, brings us to tip number 5, comfort. So firstly, by that I mean temperatures now are starting to get colder. Last night was 7 degrees here. So I have my winter wrap on now. And if I'm honest, I actually have mine on all year round, guys, just because I like the additional room it gives me. But now might be the time that's worth considering. Do you want to get your winter wrap on? Do you want to put your winter sleeping bag on? Now, I didn't have it on last night, but, you know, once it starts getting a bit colder, I will definitely be moving to my winter sleeping bag. It makes a massive difference. One of the things is you don't want to be cold on the bank. So do you put your ground sheet in at this time of year to try and prevent some of the chill coming up from the ground? Do you have a mat inside your bivvy? It is all about being comfortable on the bank and enjoying your time on the bank. And I find if you're cold, nothing kills a session quite as much as the cold, guys, seriously. So that's your bivvy, that's your surroundings. Obviously make sure you've got cooking essentials, make sure you've got enough gas that you can, you know, make yourself a hot cup of tea or coffee and that sort of stuff as well, because that will help keep you warm. Then obviously we come back to your clothing, guys. You know, have you got your beanies ready? Do you wear a snod? Because I do. You know, when it starts getting really cold, if I'm sleeping with my head out of my bag, my nose is always cold. So I just pull a snod up, guys. And when it gets cold, that's what I'll start using all the time. Is it worth taking a set of gloves with you? Now, it's not super cold yet, but some mornings are going to be chilly, so you may need it. Is it worth putting your thicker joggers on? Is it worth putting your boots on, your thermal lined boots? So it's really important that you just try and maybe prepare a little bit, check the weather app, see what the weather's going to be like. And we all know how they can be wrong drastically. You know, no, it's not going to rain. It's been raining this morning and it wasn't meant to rain. Only a little, but it was raining. I did know the temperatures were going to get down to where they were, and I dressed appropriately. I've got one hoodie on now. I wore a second one on top last night when it started getting cold. I haven't brought out the winter suit or any of that yet. It's not cold enough yet. But the point is, just make sure you are comfortable. Also, it's always worthwhile bringing a second set of clothes. Leave them in your car or your van or whatever, that if you need a change of clothes, you've got them there, guys. So there you have it, guys, my 5 tips for trying to help you get more carp on the bank this autumn. Thanks for watching. I hope you like this sort of things, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you've enjoyed it, why not give it the old thumbs up? And if you want to be notified of future posts, hit that bell icon. Only leaves me to say, stay safe, stay fishing. I'll see you on the next vlog.